Light is a thing that makes it clear to see. So things that couldn't be seen before are now seen, or even, you could say this applies to all senses. The sense extracts information that couldn't be extracted before, like a curtain lifting on something. And in Mario Sunshine, for example, this appears as a darkness lifting over the world. The world can be seen more clearly, more and more. The light increases and gets stronger, and the world that couldn't be seen before is now seen in full daylight thanks to the star. The star in Mario Brothers gives you invincibility because, I think, it lets you course all obstacles. You can just run through it all. Run through enemies and not worry about anything. So in a sense, this invincibility is also an aspect of travel. It allows you to move to places you couldn't easily move to before. It's a travel method or even a shortcut, the way star as symbol becomes in Mario World. So a shortcut is something that allows you to get to somewhere without having to pass through the usual method, and maybe saves you some time, or even some effort. Maybe a shortcut is also simply a way to cross an obstacle that was unexpected, or that you didn't have before. It's like opening a door. Therefore, you're passing from a place or method you knew to a new method. You're opening a door towards something you couldn't be before. It's interesting how the stars have also been a space for dream time for a lot of people. Like, for example, the early video game history, I think, has a lot to do with space, like space war, space travel, maybe even computer space. It seems to me this was probably connected to the huge efforts to explore space in the 1960s, and maybe connects to the probably big effect or popularity that space science fiction has had, which is a dream of going to space. Why would you dream of going to space? Well, it's an unknown place, so there could be something you could get along with, a new prize. A thought came into my head the other day. What if space is sort of like an ocean of yellow golden objects, stars, so it's like a huge money gold mine or a pile of coins? You could see it the other way around. Maybe a golden pile of money and the human fantasy of reaching such a huge golden pile or gold mine world is connected to a dream of space as a big pile of shiny things. If so, my question is space a big pile of money? And if so, what is a big pile of money? What is a big group of shining things? Shining things are mysterious too. They're sometimes connected with ghosts. We think that ghosts become stars, that dead people are stars, or even that stars are gods or connected to the gods. These things lead me to think that perhaps stars or shiny objects of the sort are connected to our visual field, since shining is a property that we perceive through our eyes. Of course, you could perceive its heat. The heat would generate a different mouth feel due to the changes in atmosphere, etc. And probably theoretically, being close to a huge flame would also be affected on your ears. So all senses would be activated. But I'm interested in sight as a symbol of what video games mean, specifically video games that imply screens, since of course you could play a game that involves the sense of ears, voice, sense of touch, smell, etc. Video games or enjoyments, communication could imply all senses, and the sense of sight is simply sort of like an archetype of whatever the symbol of sense perception is, whatever it is that you're single-pointedly focused on as you play. That implies that there is a single-pointed focus, which is of course something maybe debatable. But, to continue, I'd say that it is that a game, like art in general, requires a certain kind of flow state or single-pointed concentration, like meditation, like listening to something with concentration, and this sort of means that maybe one single one of your senses is being honed in on. And it could be your sense of hearing or sight or touch or smell. Which, to me, means that the light of a star is maybe symbolic of visual field stuff as a sense of expressing the contents of a content. Does that make sense? No. Okay, let's try again. The sense of sight is sort of like any other, in that it perceives information, and this communication from the sense data is perceived by you. So the shine of a shiny object is sort of like information that something is inherently visual. It sort of means this thing is not only seen, it is meta-seen, it is seen, It is very seen. It's not just visual, it's shiny. Which could perhaps imply that, as we don't know what we'll do with such a mystery, a pile of money or a pile of ghosts in the sky like heaven, like ghosts that promise to guide towards an unknown world, this pile of mysteries guide us to an unknown world. There is information conveyed that is new to us, and so makes us dream of many possibilities. Oh, what could it be? What are the possibilities? And the possibility of space and the possibility space of visual field, if we could name it, I'd call it dream. Money is something that offers a new possibility of movement too. So Mario, playing as a working class hero, played that way maybe because of resonance with the players of the game. So the game promotes the idea that he can meet the princess. Why would you meet a princess? Well, I think many fairy tales like this are here to help us, like fairy tales of poor men meeting beautiful witches who give them a palace of money and beauty of the material world. And I wonder if maybe the game could be inscribed in that style of telling a story. So does this mean that Mario could enter the aristocracy or become a royal family member? What is it? At the time, I think, when Mario starts appearing, the 1980s to 1990, seems to be a time, as far as I understand, of growing material wealth in capitalist societies. Now, I have no idea about this, not a historian, etc., but I am curious about whether the effect of societal growth had some effect on Mario as an icon. That is to say, whether Mario's health as a symbol rested on his ability to be a person who collected coins and got more and more coins until he met the princess. Or, to put it in other words, are these fairy tales of meeting great wealth specific to a series of changes in societies? Could it be that working class people suffering as capitalism and conditions of work got poorer as technology got bigger, or something like that, could mean that precisely the rise of technology that could mean computers or technology like video games appears precisely as an emphasis on private wealth, makes it harder for public wealth to survive or something like that, which would mean that the idea of a man getting his money from collecting a lot of coins instead of left ideas, which at the time would have been especially badly seen due to the fight against the threat of communism and so on during the Cold War times. So in my idea of this, it's as if video games at that time mark a weird sort of place. They represent a sort of enjoyment that expects a desire to collect money and at the same time a desire to meld into a fairy tale where gold is a magical thing and money isn't really money but a golden nugget from a dreamland, a place from inside of your soul, so to speak, or a psychoanalytic journey into yourself. If so, this journey into a dreamland, say the land of space, outer space in the exploration, or to enter into the magical world of money to become a wealthy person and exit your current world of non-wealthiness, could be a dream that's akin to that, to entering your own self. Expanding yourself with a growing mushroom that makes you bigger inside, expanding until you can reach more of yourself and your own world, which has become smaller and invisible, unknown, and not under the shine of a light that lets it cast itself into light, like psychoanalysis, to be seen, mediated upon and seen, understood, grown. I don't know if the rest of this is worthwhile. Weird little text, sorry, yeah.